Good morning, B.
Good morning, Mama. How you doing today? What? What?
Nothing.
What we
I
kind of looking
just
like
said,
today?
good morning, B.
Good morning, butterfly. How you doing? You good?
Good.
Good
The
to see
baby
you
chicks
today.
sound so good.
Do they?
I
Do they
love
sound
the
like?
sound. I do. I like the sound.
Mm, yeah, they just
I'm gonna
back there.
find me some of that music to sleep on. That sounds good. Really therapeutic.
Oh, yeah. They're interesting to be around. They're getting so big. We're gonna show y'all how they look. I'm gonna have to do that for these shows. But welcome everyone. 95th consecutive show of the In This Season podcast. We're your host, the Butterfly, and her son, the co-host, me. We go through a an amazing motivational book called Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro, where we get the best of the best, and when it comes to encouragement, when it comes to inspiration, when it comes to seeing and envisioning your goals and going out there and being successful and attaining them. That's what we're here for, is to inspire criticisms, meditations, and giving you thoughts to ponder, to teach, to help you to dream, and kind of to really visualize and bring down to earth uh, what success means, what your goals look like. We asked you goals. You guys remember that? Hopefully, you guys wrote some goals down. But all in all, daily motivations for African American success will help you focus on the thoughts, the attitudes, and the deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. So, in 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, the author of the Think and Grow Rich Black Choice, a Black Choice leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, to cultivate a positive attitude, to become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and how to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each one of these motivations begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm Aaron Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, and Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. So this treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So that's what we're doing here, young. Any power that can reverse the fortunes of race in America, its character. And every thought which in our mind, every word we utter, every deed we perform makes its impression on the innermost fiber of our being. What impression did you make yesterday? What impression are you making today? And how are you going to make today better today? So that's what we're here for. Mom, you got anything? Anything in the comments? Got a couple people coming in.
Yes, Miss. Well, we'll start. KL says, "Hey y'all, Mike is in as well. Good
What up?
morning,
What up?
everyone." KL says, "I like seeing a mixture of people in that salt smoothie, a mixture of people." I don't get that one, KL. You have to help me with that one. And then Brenda Davis says, "Good morning, everyone. Don't forget about the 5 minutes to spend on why don't we ever talk recipe ingredients." Thank you, Miss
Yeah,
Brenda.
good, good.
Because I
I'm not sure. We sure we're gonna do it.
yes, we were gonna pass right by it. I'm up this morning, y'all. PJs on. Like I literally, I'm gonna do this and I'm going back to bed. I didn't get
Ah,
all fancy for y'all this morning. I'm like, this is what they gonna get. I don't even know. Did I even comb my hair? Lord have mercy.
they
But
getting real this
anyway,
morning, huh? They getting real.
it is what it is. Y'all just gonna have to
Every,
look at hear the message and not see. For me, one of the messengers, I guess, in this sense. But yep, I'm gonna go
well,
back to bed for at least
look
2 hours this morning. I'll go sleep.
we got you deserve. We got AD out on the IG chat that said gave the hands. So that's good. A lot good to see you, bro. Assalamu alaikum. But again, guys, this is the installment of a daily passage, giving you our thoughts, insights, and then coming with it and seeing what you guys think, and leave here with the same words of information that we take with us, carry with us throughout the day. So I hope this has been beneficial for the people coming here consistently. coming back. There's something on in value. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as this gives us more ability to reach more people. And share this. Please share this. The algorithms know that this is what you want to see, and this is what you like to share with others to get them more views. What it's all about for them, but for us, it's about impact. It's about changing lives. It's about transforming people's minds. So let's jump right in it.
You're
See
gonna go back to what was that day? Why don't we ever talk? That was May 3rd, you guys. So that would have been Friday, maybe Friday. The
It
recipe that
was,
you gave
yeah,
us. Yeah, yeah.
yep. I think it was Friday. Let me see. Let me see. Oh yeah, we wanted to see exactly what that
You
it
want to go
was.
over that recipe again.
Yeah,
Try
I just
this
wanted us to look
recipe.
at it.
Give it to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's and the why don't we ever talk, which is 2 days ago. This was on May 3rd. Um, it was talking about the recipe to cook up a happy marriage, and I think we didn't go over this. And I just want us to review it. It says 1 cup of speaking, but 2 cups of concentration, 5 spoons of understanding, and 2 quarts of communication. So the biggest one there is communication, right? You all right, mom? You good over there? that tea getting tea. I saw you doing. And then it says 1 cup of conversing, 3 cups of listening, 2 spoons of sharing, and 4 quarts of caring. So the ones that stand out to me immediately are the 2 quarts of communication and the 4 quarts of caring. So out of all the ingredients, the one that had the most in it was the caring. Right? Y'all remember what we said? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So right here, I just thought it was interesting that the one that had the most amount
Hmm.
of I guess the most that they were adding to this, that Dennis Kimbro put in this recipe for a happy marriage, was 4 quarts of caring. So if you basically if you give a dang about this, right, about this marriage, you're gonna do whatever you got to do to make it work. And I think that's what I see among the marriages that have stayed together. It wasn't the fact that they didn't go through ups and downs or challenges or hard times, or even might be in a situation where they quote unquote fall out of love with each other for a moment. They don't like each other, right? But they're committed to each other. And the love grows and they foster it and they stayed steadfast and they stayed patient and they stayed committed. So what I've seen is the resilience of just that caring gives you. If you care about somebody and you care about the relationship, it gives you a certain type of resilience that I think gets you through to the other side of whatever that challenge is. Um, and 2 quarts of communication. So if you care and you're communicating, those are the most impactful things. There's no way you can have the rest of those ingredients and not have those 2 quarts of communication and the 4 quarts of caring. So you gotta care twice as much as you communicate. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Mom? Caring uh,
So, Brandon, I like the
twice as
and
much.
I do think once if you care about someone, even yourself, if you care about someone, the other things come, I won't say naturally, but they you will think about those things. You think about that person in a way, in a different way. And this should be really just about people, but certainly about the people that we choose to do life with. The mother of our children, the father of our children. If you care about your children, you care
Mm-hmm.
about their father and their mother, right? Think about how many people divorce and these kids
Mm-hmm.
go through hell, just trying to see the two people that made them be on one accord, if not about life, but about them and what's best for them. So a lot of this, when we take um, people for granted, because the affirmation says, I will not take my mate for granted, right? So, what does that look like? What does that mean? Because a lot of times ego gets into the way. But if you notice, you mentioned that 4 quarts of caring is more than any of them. And it goes on to say Take speaking and concentration and mix it thoroughly with caring. So the way you speak to
Mm.
them, you're going to be mixing that with your care, concentrating on how do I show this person how much I care rather than how much I think I know about them or this relationship. Do I just care first? Because if you care first, the other things you will interest you as it relates to them and your relationship with them and their relationship with you. Brandon, it's like you mentioned about Sella, you know, you having a conversation, she nods, and you take that as, okay, she's good with it. But once you learned that, hey, that's not what that shake means,
Right.
you go away, you don't come back and keep, you see the shake again, regardless of what, if she decides to say, no, okay, baby, I'll think about it. If she doesn't say that, once you have an understanding of how she communicates to you, and that shake means, okay, I heard you,
Hmm.
but I don't know, I don't have an answer yet,
And that's the
right?
concentration. Yeah.
Right. It's your responsibility to go back because you're building something here. It's like if you were working on a job and you did something that did not work the first time, right? It did not work. Would you go back and do it again?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Hopefully.
I have
So
a likeness to that. Like if you're building a fence and you put your posts in, you gotta stake them and then give them time to dry. Because
right,
if you don't, and you come back and your posts are off a little bit, your fence line is gonna be off,
right.
and you're gonna have to do that all over again if you don't do it right the first time. But if you don't do it right the first time, you have a responsibility, in my opinion, to go
The
back
second.
and fix it.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
in that case with you and wifey, it's a responsibility for you to say, okay, are we good? You don't go back the second time and repeat it over again, do the same thing over again, right? That's not caring for your relationship. That's not communicating. That's not concentrating. That's not having an understanding. Because what if one day, and likewise, it's her responsibility to be intentional about, okay, making sure he understands. But what if one day she's just kind of consumed in whatever, and she
Mhm.
nods, but she forgets to say, okay, baby, I I'll think more about that. He can just simply ask. So
Yeah.
when two people are playing on the same team, right, they're playing to win. And sometimes we're just not on the same team, and these
Right.
things are not as
They're
easily.
fighting they're infighting amongst
Right,
each other, and
right,
like
right.
there's a power battle and things like that. I want to look at that where it says sprinkle abundantly after it says blend it with communication, sharing, and understanding. Right, so you're blending this mix of concentration, speaking, and caring. Expressing yourself, but also caring, which is a type of paying attention to your partner. Um, blend it with communication, sharing, and understanding. Add listening, and then sprinkle abundantly with
With
laughter.
laughter.
So sometimes, y'all, you just
Bake it
need a
in
good laugh
sunshine, not in the oven. Bake it
and
in
sunshine.
sunshine.
But think
Serve
about that.
generously. Serve generous helpings daily. And that's
Sometimes,
it. You got to do it daily.
yes, but sometimes I don't want us to skip over too much the sprinkle abundantly with laughter.
Yeah, that's true.
Y'all live a little bit and
Yeah.
laugh. Don't take it all. It might be a serious topic, but sometimes y'all just need a good laugh. One of the most attractive things from women to men when I've read about this is a sense of humor. A sense of humor actually shows intelligence. If you can make somebody
Mm,
laugh, if you can have a novel conversation with someone and find an interesting way of looking at something that they had never seen, that's what usually causes laughter when you relate to things that seem to be unrelatable and there's some type of surprising rhetoric or something that they didn't expect in the conversation or whatever you're talking about, and it makes them laugh. That is a sense of humor. That is one of the most attractive things. Why? Because it's a show of intelligence. It's a show of ingenuity. It's a show of that you're able to innovate and to find the silver lining, to have a positive disposition no matter what's going on. That especially to I mean to women and men, but specifically to women who, in many cases, give give some type of not a some type of authority and some type of, hey, you're the leader to the man. It's very important for her to know that this man has the ability to be innovative. He has the ability to not just make me laugh, but because he can make me laugh, I know he can make this work.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever
Mm-hmm.
this is, he can make
Mm-hmm.
the situation work. He can make our finances work. He's going to go out there and work. He's going to make sure that the kids, the way we want to raise the kids works. You know what I mean? It shows some intentionality, sometimes just with a sense of humor, and a good sense of humor. Not a sense
Yeah.
of humor where you're in Memphis we got this thing called check-in. Don't go checking your wife and checking your husband all the time. You know, when you're picking on them and calling them out for different things. But as far as the sense of humor, find something novel to make her smile, make her laugh, make her giggle, and it could be the small things. It's the kisses on the back of the neck, or the being playful, or doing something spontaneous, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Show your partner that you are still in this, that you are still interested in this. You're still looking for new ways
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
love and to learn and to grow together. So make sure that you sprinkle your relationships, your mate specifically, with laughter.
There
Okay,
you
so
go.
let's
Brandon, can I, one more thing
we
before
got a whole nother
I
passage
know,
to read.
I know we missed this. I don't want to miss this though. The divorce rate would be lower if instead of marrying for better or
Married
worse,
for good.
people would marry for good, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I say that people don't make it not because they don't love each other. It's because they never learned how to love the person that they are with. There's a lot of people who have ended marriages and relationships who truly loved each other, right?
Yeah.
They just didn't work hard enough on, I'll say, loving themselves first and then learning to understand the person that they're with. And I'm saying this because Brandon brought this up and I love it how when Stella said, you know, and that didn't mean, okay, go on and do whatever, right? It
Mm-hmm.
meant, I'll think about it, right?
Right. That wasn't
So as those things build up, it'll take you're one thing away from saying I've had it, but you've not sat down and talked about the things that have gotten you to this point. You just keep letting them go. So write that recipe down and post it on your refrigerator, maybe. Even if you're not in a relationship, do these things with yourself, right? Have these things implemented in your life. So I'll copy and paste it out there probably while we're doing this so I don't forget. So, all right, Brandon, we'll get down to day
day 5th.
5, day 95, 95th. Okay.
Day 95 on May 5th. Today's title is Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine is the title. And the distinguished African American who gives us the quote today is B.B. Moore Campbell, the journalist and writer. And B.B. said, "It's no disgrace to start over or to begin anew. It's no disgrace to start over or to begin anew." Dinner was over. The host of the party and his guests assembled in the library. They chatted idly before the conversation turned serious. They talked of personal setbacks and obstacles to success, and of the great need for courage and faith in overcoming such experience. "I have a philosophy that has evolved over the years," the host admitted. "It has helped me through every disappointment. My grandmother shared this advice with me before she died." At his guests' urging, he offered his grandmother's words, sharing his secret of calm and serenity, of rising above every distressing circumstance, of going on with courage and hope. "What looks like the end of the road," he said, "is only a turn in the road, the beginning of a new and more profitable experience. You are never beaten unless you give up." I have lived
Mhm.
by this philosophy, and it has kept me happy. The dinner host was Ralph Bunche, statesman, diplomat, and Secretary General of the United Nations. Among Dr. Bunche's, I think it's Bunche's, Dr. Bunche's guests that evening was a newspaper editor who felt that Dr. Bunche's words would help others, so he suggested he write an article about his philosophy. Ralph Bunche compiled with the editor's wishes, complied, I'm sorry, with the editor's wishes. His article appeared and created something of a sensation. Countless men and women, impressed by Bunche's valiant way of life, adopted his outlook and attempted to live by his principles. And the affirmation today is, my greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time. My greatest glory is not in never failing, or is not in never falling, but in rising every time. And last time, so we get it right. My greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. This reminds me of what I tell my son. Anytime he falls, I just say, "Hey, son, what do you do when you fall?" And he puts his hands up and he says, "Get back up again." You know, so just teaching that type of resilience, that type of overcoming. But that's the passage for today, Mother. I'm going to turn it to you. What did you get from today's passage? Rise and shine. I get it now. Okay, rise and
Yeah,
shine.
that I need a new book. My book is old, y'all, and I'm telling you, like the author. I mean, the author of the quote. I could not read his name. I need a new book. I'm changing this because I had the words wrong. Mine look like they say something different. Um,
Oh, yours is
so
your book isn't
no,
is
remember I
blurry.
was telling you I can barely read it because like it's so messed up on the back. I think I made a mistake and ordered a used book.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then the words inside, like I kept trying to. It's just a bad copy for me. My book is a bad copy, so some of the words are blurred. So I probably made a mistake and ordered
A
a
used the
See,
used
it
ones are
just
a little
looks
cheaper. Yeah,
yeah. So I need a new book so I can really know what it's saying. So
this book is from the '90s, so if it's used, it's really used. I mean, even mine, like it's an older book.
yeah,
So
the
I got a
print,
little.
something about the print. So I
Uh,
don't know if those who ordered it, if you were having the same
no, I'm not
issues.
having
Because
like
I
mine
thought,
is good on the print. All the print's very clear on mine.
really?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. But what do you
Yeah.
think about this passage?
So rise and shine. It makes me think about my book. You guys, if you've never heard of this book and want to try something, the Miracle Morning.
Oh
It's a
yes.
book called Miracle Mornings, and it gives you a recipe for ways to start your day. It just kind of assists you in, and I believe, as it mentions, rise. That the way that we get up, or the way that we break our fast, right? Whether it's with our breakfast, the way that we break that sleep, how you start, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's so, so, so important. So rise and shine, right? That's our title. It's no disgrace to start over or to begin anew, no matter what happened, regardless of what happened yesterday. Today is a new day. Also reminds me of Rodney Jordan, how he used to say, everybody gets a new sheet of paper with him every day. What they put on that paper is up to them, right? But he's not taking what happened yesterday into today. So the same with us. Everything starts with you. No matter what you're going through or went through yesterday. I feel like I had this conversation with a young lady that I met while out working yesterday. Divine is such a blessing to see God through your day moving in ways that again, just verify who he is in your life. I felt as if I was in a very stressful, place, right? It was stressful because I didn't feel like it opened the doors for me to do what I was there to do. And I looked over and I saw just the back of this young lady and I saw the back of her dress and just she had her hair in a ponytail. She just looked, or it felt like I could feel her spirit from afar. She was actually checking out. So we ended up having a conversation, and it was mainly about how when you think you're failing or that you've fallen down, that it's not permanent, and that God is still with you. So when we say that this book is falling, and she actually subscribed, I sent her the link for the show. Immediately, she texted me back. She said, I subscribed. And I thought, wow, we exchanged numbers. And so we're going to meet up. And I had just had the conversation with my brother earlier about the lack of like-minded friends in my life, to the point where I'd rather not have them at all. Right. I'm just not in that journey of dead friends and all of these things. And you could be dead but ready to live again. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. It's just you guys have to be mindful of the people around you in order to rise and shine every day. You have to have people in your life where if they call or you call them, they can hear that you are having trouble shining that day or that morning, and they can get you back on track. So it is never a disgrace to start anew. So wherever you are, if you didn't rise and shine this morning, when you get off of this broadcast, rise and shine. What does that look like? How do you do that daily? I'll give you some things. I'll put them out there because I did some research on this morning. So I'll put some things out there for you. But let's look at what looks like the end of the road. He said is only a turn in the road, the beginning of a new and more profitable experience. I'll say a more profitable assignment. When you look at your life as though you are on an assignment for God, and that is the assignment, just to glorify the kingdom of God. And how do you do that? Surrender, be a servant, like Mary. Not what I would choose for me, but I'm a servant. And if this is what you would have me be or go through, I'm going to grow through it because it's an assignment. And so, no matter what you're growing through, rise and shine. My greatest glory is not in never falling, because you're going to fall, you guys. We're going to have some days where the sun just does not shine like it shined yesterday, right? But that doesn't mean the sun's gone or it's not coming. That it never will rise and shine again. That doesn't mean that. And you have to know, you have to have the ability to say yes, when to say yes and when to say no, to think, as it says, if there's any power that can reverse the fortunes of race. And I'm going to say the racism you have against yourself,
Exactly.
not what the people have on you.
Hmm.
It is character, writes Dennis Kimbro. Every thought which enters your mind, every word we utter, I'm going to say you utter, every deed you perform makes its impression on the innermost fiber of your being. Period. I'll turn it
Hmm.
over to you, Brandon.
No problem. Thank you, Mom. I think you're absolutely right with the things you were saying. I think if I could add to anything there, I would say that you are never beaten unless you give up. Is the end of that. Like what looks like the end of the road is only a bend or a turn in the road, the beginning of a new and more profitable experience, just by having that disposition, by having that faith that whatever is in front of you is better than what is behind you. Gives you this expectation. Um, and my faith, God says that he will basically be as you see him, right? If you see God as this merciful being, as this forgiving being, if that's the disposition that you have in your relation to God, it'll be that for you, right? If you have the disposition that God is this wrathful and every time, has no mercy at all, and you have this negative disposition upon God or the world or life in general, that is largely how you will experience it. So it's even outside of the realm of faith, there are better outcomes that are associated with positive dispositions. People, they did a study, people that think that they're lucky perform better on tests. Did you hear what I said? People that think they're lucky, that have this aura of, I'm a lucky person, things work out for me, do better on tests. Specifically tests that you can't study for, like, oh, trivia and things like that, because they don't doubt their first thoughts. Have you ever noticed that your first gut is usually the best? And on a test, you'll sit there and be like, well, I don't know. And you end up picking something or spending too much time on the question. Then anxiety builds up as you're going through the test because you need to finish and all these other things. When you have a positive disposition about your understanding of anything or on life, that life is happening for you and not to you, you automatically have a positive disposition and trusting the knowledge and understanding that you have. There's no anxiety that's associated with it. And so even if you get that one question wrong, you won't carry any emotional poison or doubt or insecurity over to the next question on the test. So that's what they found. And I thought that was interesting. And then also, I noticed that someone, an editor, noticed, he felt that Dr. Bunchy's words would help others. So that's important too. So who are you around? Are there people that that are taking the good, your good, right? So the friends that you have, do they revel in your good or do they revel in your bad? Right? Have you ever had friends that they always had something to say about you? They always just kind of wanted to jab a little bit, or if they introduce you, they say, "Oh, she crazy. She got a temper."
LOL.
Yeah, little things like that. Just little sneak disses, we call them in hip hop. We call them sneak disses. Like, you ain't say you dissing me, but it's coming from a place of jealousy, or from a place of enmity, or from a place of competition, a place of lack, a place of scarcity. You might love me to your best capacity, but that ain't the type of love that I need, right? And so those people wouldn't think that, oh, what you said is something that everybody needs to hear. They might think, oh, you think you too good for everybody, huh? You just gonna keep on rising after anything that happens to you. What, you too good to fail sometimes? And, so like there's different ways of filtering information, filtering your friends, and for you to be discerned about the intentions of the people around you. You can feel it. Don't deny that first gut. If life is an assignment, if life is a test, then as you go through it, have not only a positive disposition about God and your creator, but have a positive disposition about your life and the people around you, right? A positive disposition. So if you see a friend that doesn't serve you and you're not serving them, you can easily say, you know what? You were in my life for a season, but that season is over. And who knows? You might come around and you grow and they grow, and you guys might see it differently. They may fit at that point. But let's not get attached to people, places, things, circumstances, environments, and relationships that do not serve us, that do not better us. Right? Don't be attached to those things. And so I think by surrounding yourself with good people, people that encourage you, people that motivate you, people that want to share your good, and they want to highlight your good and not highlight your bad. Or they want to highlight the good things that you do, not your evil. They don't want to enjoin with you in the things that you do that are unbecoming of the dignity of a human being, that are unbecoming of your position in society or in your family. They don't want to see you drunk. You know what I mean? There are friends that they would rather go to a museum with you and learn something with you than go get drunk or high with you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference in those people. So keep those people around you. And so in seeing that editor who saw the good in Dr. Bunchy, the editor wrote an article. So that person went to go tell the story. So we need those people. And now countless men and women were impressed by Bunchy's valiant way of life and adopted his outlook and attempted to live by his grandmother. It says his principles, but his grandmother's principles. So look at how that passed on from the grandmother to the man speaking at this congregation, to the editor, from the editor to a newspaper of some sort, and on to the entire world. So that grandmother who gave that advice, that beautiful advice to her grandson, didn't know it, but she affected, hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, right? So share, right? In that moment, he saw the good. He recognized the validity in what she was saying. The editor recognized the strength in what the man was saying of the words that he got from his grandmother, and then the other people read that editor's work. So basically, what I'm saying is good multiplies, right?
Yes, yes.
Good multiplies. The evil, it's one off, but let's not give the evil the weight of the good. Let's not give the evil, I'll say that again, the weight of the good. If you notice, we flip that sometimes, and whatever's evil, whatever's bad, whatever's challenging, we highlight it in our lives. We highlight it. People will get online and make a status. Oh man, today, man, like you said, I got in a wreck today. I did this today, and it was horrible, man. My coffee spilled today. People would say that faster than they'll say, man, I had the best cup of coffee this morning, or there was nothing wrong with my coffee. Not just it was the best, but everything was good. I woke up this morning, things went, my kids made it to school all right this morning. There's so many blessings and so many good things that we can find, but are we in position to rise and shine? Because you can't rise but with negative self-talk.
Mm,
You can't rise. You can't shine dimming somebody else's light. you know so I think looking at all of the characters and the people that are named inside of this passage is important, because they all have a different perspective and a different part to play in the rising and shining of, eventually, I guess, hundreds of thousands of people. So that's all that I have today. My greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. What gives you that resilience? Is it a positive disposition? I think it is. It's never the end of the road. It's just the turn on the road. You know, when you're looking all the way down the road and it turns, you can't really see what's ahead, but you still go toward that path on faith, because either you've been there before or somebody's giving you directions and you know this is the way to go. And just because you can't see the destination doesn't mean that it's not there just beyond the horizon, the trees, the bend in the road. So that's all I got.
So, Brandon, there's two things, a couple of things, I'm not going to lie with that I want to share. And came across this morning, and in our book today, in our passage, it says, "You are never beaten unless you give up. You are never beaten unless you give up." Um, Marcus Stanley is on Facebook, and he posts a lot, many good things that'll help you get through. So day 5th, May 5th for him, or day 126 for him, he posts, and this is for May 5th. God is saying to you today, I am the God who equips you. I have given you unique talents, gifts, and abilities. Embrace and develop them for my glory. Step out in faith. Step out in faith, knowing that I will provide everything you need to fulfill the purpose I have for you. And this last one I saw, I hope no one thinks that I have it all together. I just trust God and I don't quit.
Hey, that's it right there.
Right?
That's it.
That's it. I don't have it all together. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, I tell you. There have been times in coaching where I'll tell people who have paid me, right, to sit in front of me and talk. And I tell them, there are days you might come in here where we need to switch sides, because I don't know everything. And even in you coming here for this thing, there may be something one day that you know more about than me, or you've experienced it, right? You've gone through it, and now you can help me grow through it. And that's knowing that as much as I think I've read and talked about and learned about, there's so much more that I know nothing about. But I can tell you this: I choose to rise and shine. What are your first thoughts? Are there thoughts? Do you even notice what you think when you wake up? Your first thoughts. What do you say? There was a time that before every time I opened my eyes, whether it was to get up to go to the bathroom or just woke up, I would recite the Lord's Prayer through and through and through. And I truly believe that was preparing me for a very hard time. Like just doing that helped me grow spiritually.
Mm.
So no matter what you're growing through, keep going. Keep going. If you stop, you will never get there. But if you crawl, if you
One day,
roll and
one day.
continue to do it, you will eventually get there. You know, Brandon, I don't know if you saw, I sent the picture of the berry tree last
Oh, the
night to both
mulberry.
of you, the
I did see
mulberry
it
tree.
later.
And you guys, this was planted about 3 years ago, I think is what we thought about, thinking it's been about 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
2, 3 years, yeah.
3 years later, we have some berries, right? What if we were just like, oh, this tree's dead, it's not producing after the first year?
How big is it? How big is your mulberry tree now?
It's pretty big. I don't remember how big it was when we got it, but it's probably maybe about 9, 10 feet, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, ours is probably about a little, maybe a little bit bigger. Ours about.
Did y'all get berries this year?
We did. We actually got berries. I think we might have got some last year, like at the end of the season, but we didn't get a ton of them. But this season we did get a lot,
We got
and
a
then
ton.
we had a frost, so we had like
Mm,
a the berries really came almost pre-emergent or prematurely, and then they had the frost, so all the berries went down, and now we have a new set of berries because mulberries produce all the growing season. And mom, you remember these mulberries? Like remember in Valdosta, these were the berries that we we ate. Like
right,
I ate so many mulberries. I probably was you know purple inside, purple and red on
right,
the inside.
right.
But we would go get the big cups from the gas station down there, and then put all the we use the same cup every day. I remember that the same cup. It was a 7 Up cup. I kid you, that was a 7 Up cup. Because I was like, what is this number 7 doing? But we would fill them up and we'd pick out them, every day, and there'd be new berries every day. It's like that tree never ran out because
Yeah,
everybody ate from that tree. So it was,
yeah,
and so it
yeah.
means that that tree specifically means a lot to me now, and that's why I have one in my yard. And then while we gave you one too,
Right, right. And it's
they
so
was twigs when we first got them.
yeah,
It literally looked like a stick. It wasn't no leaves on it, anything like that. So,
yeah. And it was so I don't know, yesterday, and I'm like that with nature, you guys. If you've not planted a tree, or plant, I don't know, even maybe just a flower or something to make it your own, make start with a seed or something, or just a tree, whatever works for you. And then to watch it grow, to me, is a reminder. It's nature. It's a reminder of my growth. You know, it took 3 years to get what's out there now. It took 3 years. And we had the frost as well. But
mhm.
look, the frost is the experience, the things we grow through, right? So nature has its frost, its experiences, its dying time as well. But nature trusts God. Nature trusts God. Period. Period. So
Yeah.
rise and shine. Be mindful of your thoughts when you wake up. Take your mind off of yesterday and tomorrow. Embrace the day. Create a routine. Wish I could bring my vision board over here. But the Miracle Morning helped me create my own vision board, and it's three sides to it, and I pull it out and I look at it. I don't get caught up in it because, like the berry tree, the mulberry tree, it might take 10 years for some of these things to manifest. But guess what? I'm going to rise and shine every day so that when it happens, I don't have to create a rise and shine. It is already of me, in me,
Right, right.
right? So that's all I have, Brandon.
That's all I got too, Mama. I'm gonna let you get back to that sleep. You said you're gonna sleep in a little bit on this beautiful Sunday.
I'm gonna roll right back into bed. I'm gonna go back and sleep for about 2 more hours. Brandon's taking me out for my birthday today.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So,
So call
yeah.
me. You gonna call me when you wake up?
We'll talk after air. You could just give me a time and I'll be ready. But I need at least 2 hours of sleep. I need rest.
Get you some rest with it. I'll be right here waiting on you. Well,
Okay.
y'all, thank you again. Before we get too personal about our day and what we bumped into, this is the 95th day of being 95th day in a row of the End This Season podcast. Today's title was Rise and Shine. Oh! Somebody said I grew up with a mulberry tree in the backyard, and we ate so many. Man, I'm telling
I
y'all, like,
believe Miss Brenda is our cousin.
she probably did. So
She's related to us. We got to do that family thing. Miss
let's do
Brenda,
it.
man, y'all remember the dates and the plums? Did y'all grow up having an opportunity to pick dates and
Yeah.
plums off the trees? Y'all
Yes.
remember the little sunflower thing? Well, not sunflowers. Those suckle. What do they call it? The little
Honeysuckle. Honeysuckle.
honeysuckle. Y'all
Yeah.
remember those? Man, that's some good. These kids are missing out today. Used
Mom,
to
mom,
come home full.
and it's a different. I love those dates, man. Remember, man,
Mm,
we used to drive and just see the date
pull
tree,
over on this tree.
pull on the tree, and go up the tree and get dates off the tree.
Take them home. Wash
So
them. Whew.
yeah, they're so good. Okay, y'all. But before we, I'm about to get hungry over here. But again, y'all, thank y'all for joining us today. We will be back tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. Central Time. And before we leave, we have to end it the same way we always do: a reading of the title, a reading of the quote, and then 3 readings of the affirmation. So the title today was Rise and Shine. And B.B. Moore Campbell, the journalist and writer, said that it's no disgrace to start over or to begin anew. And the affirmation 3 times. Remember, 1 time for me, 1 time for you, 1 time for the person you're going to send this to. Because we know you're going to share it, right? Like if you're getting some kind of value from this, it's only right that value multiplies, just like the good from that philosophy inside of this passage from that man's grandmother that soon impacted thousands of people. My greatest glory, the affirmation says, my greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. My greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. If you rise one more time than you fall, your life is a success. Just one more time. Just one more time. So, again, for the last time, one more time. My greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with another installment of the End the Season podcast with daily motivations for African American success. Again, if you haven't gotten the book, what more can I say? You're here every day. You don't have the book. Talking about you. Talking about you. Get the book. Talking about you. Y'all. All y'all. All y'all. Get the book. All right. I love
May
y'all.
10th. May 10th
May
is
10th.
the 100th episode. Please plan to join us. At least I know you have to go to work, so at least from 7, like you do now, 7 to 7:30, but we will go a bit longer. I have some great things planned. Remember
Cool.
to write those goals down and be ready to share them. And as Brandon mentioned, we're looking for people who want to come on, in the studio with us to share your story. Give us your 5 minute spiel on what this has done for you, your favorite day, your favorite takeaway. And if you can't be here with us that day, send it to us and we will read it on your behalf. Miss Brandon, maybe you could do that because I know you mentioned you will have to work Friday and won't be able to tune in with us. So send it to us and we will read it, share it on your behalf. But please, if you can, um, let them know that you're going to be maybe about 30, 40 minutes late that day. I'm serious.
You're gonna
Brandon,
make
why
a
are you
mistake.
laughing?
No, I'm cool. I'm gonna let you ride with it. I'm good.
No, now tell them this is a mental health hour and that you need that. Yeah, start that movement at your job. Maybe that's a way to knock on the door with that. Like, hey, can we have, mental? Remember, I told you about the young lady whose job they get
Yeah,
mental days off, and they
yeah,
paid for her to go horseback riding. They paid for it,
that's
right?
crazy.
So, yeah. So, all right,
Crazy.
peace, you guys. I am going back to bed.
Well, good morning and good night. You take care,
Yeah,
sweetie. I love you so
I'm
much.
finna, I'm finna, what's the opposite of rise? I'm gonna shine as I go back to sleep.
Yeah,
So I'm going to return and sleep or return
there
and
you go.
shine. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
All right. Peace, y'all.
All right, peace. Y'all take care. See y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m.